Hey guys, BigHeroes9 here, giving you another IPDL Season 5 video. This time it is week 1, and we are against the Victini Plzen. It's one of the two, I don't care. And one of the most obnoxious coaches in the league, in opinion. Really nothing to say. Gil does, bring a weird team with Mega Altaria, Victini, Staraptor, Tentacruel, Rabombi, Pangoro, Armaldo, Glalie, Kartana, Jolteon, Golurk, and Licky. So of course, it's not a season without facing a Mon twice in a row. And of course that Mon is Kartana and Jolteon. I think. Yeah, Jolteon. So it's basically a IPDL Season 4 semi-final rematch, just with different Mons. Plus Kartana and Jolteon. And I think? No, but, a pretty offensive team. And there's a lot of speed to show with that. But this team is not defensive at all. I think there's only 3 Mons that are actually defensive. And in the looks of that is Tentacruel, in special variant, a defensive Armaldo, defensive Kartana, and then Licky, because Licky is pretty bulky boy. Anyways, with that being said, expect these weekly, because, yeah, I know we just had a break and everything, so, look, with that being said, let's begin. Let's get into the team building. So, first up we brought Calypso, the Milotic, obvious set, because I am the obvious mans. Now, I changed this up between, Blacephalon and Calypso. So, as Blacephalon was threatened by Kartana, I knew Kartana was most likely going to bring knockoff, which could definitely switch my my thing, because what we do here is if he were to knock off, that dies, and then the rest of this team pretty much goes down to whatever. Of course, there's one solution, but I will get to that in a minute. So, Scald, Ice Beam, Toxic, Recover. If we somehow live a Leaf Blade without any crits, and we Scald him and it burns, or Ice Beam and it freezes, we are in this game for sure. Next up we have Samael, the Nidoking, a Life Orb, Sheer Force, Earth Power, Flamethrower, Sludge Wave, and T-Bolt. Now, of course, we had to run Flamethrower because Kartana is really trash. But we've also ran T-Bolt for the things like Staraptor, Tentacruel, but we can also do Earth Power if needed. We also brought Earth Power for the Jolteon, might I add, and then Sludge Wave for that. For the can't think of the name for some reason. Rabombi, that's what it was. Next up we have Dreidel, the Claydol, with Rapid Spin, Earthquake, Toxic, and Stealth Rock. Of course, I really want to get a Toxic off on that Licky, get it on the Jolteon, anything that can basically try to ruin us. Which is like basically Mega Alt, Victini. We also have Stealth Rocks because his team is actually really weak to rocks, as is ours, so that's why we brought Rapid Spin. And then we have Earthquake for the simplest things in life, like Victini, because, yeah. So thanks a lot, Victini. Next up we have Athos, the Cobalion, running a Chople Berry, Iron Head, Coast Combat, Rock Polish, and Stone Edge. Now, big thing. Chople Berry, most definitely for any for the close combat. which is also why I brought Snow Knights. Of course, close combat can go on the Staraptor, which is my biggest concern. While things like Kartana gets Sacred Sword and Pangoro also gets close combat, I believe. But this is just a natural try to set up and try to sweep set. Now here's the big controversial thing. So we brought the Goobs, okay? And Sap Sipper could work to get rid of Kartana, but it also gets Smart Strike, and if it's banded, it does a lot to a Goodra. Which, reminder, is why I went with a little more of a defensive, and a little bit of special attack in our Goodra. Now, there's been many questions, obviously, if you've seen the podcast on why Fire Blast over Flamethrower. And I mentioned, AV special defensive Kartana with Okaberry. Gil is one of those stupid people who runs a berry on every mon. And you'll see that from this video. That he runs basically all berries on every mon and doesn't care. Which, fine, if you don't care, you don't care, but if you're running a bear on every mon, it will not help your case unless you have like Unburden on every mon. Anyways, with that little thing out the way, I don't know the real reason why I brought Dragon Pulse, besides for stab, but Ice Beam for the Mega Ult if it wants to come in and we try to predict that. Ice Beam also for the Golurk, Focus Blast for Licky Licky, and Fire Blast for Kartana because, like I said, not dealing with anything today. And then finally we have Stalking our Sneasel. The play was basically, let's ruin our Focus Sash, and then let's try to steal a Choice Scarf off of either Victini or anything that's basically base 100, because obviously Scarf Blacephalon is a thought, but not that good of a thought to be on the team. Like I said, I brought Melodic over Blacephalon, so is what it is. But we have Fake Out, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard, and Knock Off. If I do end up knocking off something, then that would be really huge. But that being said, let's get into the battle. Another thing I'm going to mention here is that seeing this team, he's either going to go into his Golurk or into his Rabambi. Of course, knowing this, I straight up go into Cobalion. Athos, thinking that that the Rabambi's not going to be Shield Dust, and it just wants to get Webs up first, because Webs do ruin my team. So, going into that, I decide to do that. He goes into Golurk turn 1, and goes for the Dynamic Punch. So, that was really cool, honestly. I thought he would have gone to Brox. He doesn't. He shows that he's kind of fully bulked. I go for the Recover. He goes for the Earthquake again. And I'm kind of thinking, Golurk, what are you doing, buddy? You're confusing me. Scald, Crit, Burn. We do good. He finally gets his rocks up, and I realize what he's doing. He goes for another Dynamic Punch, and he's just gonna let this burn, I think, kill him. Yeah, I go into Dreidel. He goes for the Earthquake, and yeah, not doing that today. So, Golurk is down. First kill of the season goes to Melodic. I stay in for a good reason, and so, knowing my items, I couldn't allow anything to really be knocked off. Now, of course, Choppleberry would have been fine, but we get that +1 attack. But I really just didn't want to risk Kartana coming in late and screwing it up. Now, this is where I kind of make a dumb play. So, After that, I go into Athos. I start to rock polish because I'm not willing to get knocked over by a Kartana early on. I go for the close combat, and he's Choppleberry. Well, look what we have here. And then Drain Punch, he gets basically half of his health back. Gil taunting like the maniac that he is. I go for the Flamethrower. I kill that thing, obviously. In comes the Rabambi, which is kind of confusing why he did that. I knew that it got Psychic. I predicted the Psychic. Not gonna get that. Icicle Crash, not gonna do enough. Ice Shard does kill him though. And we do not pick up the item at all. So he goes for the Smart Strike. I decided that I was not gonna Ice Shard. Because if he did something else, then yeah. So obviously Smart Strike did 1, and this is where it all falls apart. This is where all the taunting and all the terror and everything comes to life. Because Gil decides to make a risky play, throw his nonsense of Pocket Sand into the Goob's eyes, and the Goobs misses a Fire Blast. Not the biggest part, but it's there. If we won that, we did win, might I add. Which also reminds me, Goobs, you are a beast for actually living a +1 Smart Strike. Which brings me to my other thing. After the match, he revealed that he was Choppleberry Kartana. This is where I bring up the berry thing again, because he brought 15 million berries on 15 million different mons. Not the best play for me, honestly, but what can you do? It is what it is. So he'll get up to +2. Gil taunting me as usual. I was hoping Melodic would live a +2. Of course, at this point, I thought he was banded or scarfed, and then that's when he reveals the Leaf Blade, and that ends my team. So, couple big things. Choppleberry on Pangoro. I give him no satisfaction for that because that was thought about by Saigai and probably Flygon as well. Of course, he gets. Or, I'm sorry, no. Not Flygon, I think. No, it was probably Flygon, to be honest. So I'm not giving him any satisfaction. He did have help with his team. I honestly... It was okay to know that he was doing something. I knew he was prepping like this. I knew he was going to do something unpredictable. He did that, led him to a 3-0 win, so I guess I gotta say congratulations, even though personally don't want to. But I mean, he had my front office help him. He had Saigai and he had Flygon help him. 3 people. Kinda crazy. No, and especially knowing that I prep with Galactic half of the sometimes, or I have him look over things. But I guess it is whatever. So we play the Manchester Ninjasks next week. So be on the lookout for that. And until then, Happy New Year's to you guys. And until next time, peace out, Miko.